What's going on, guys? It's Tony here from Rallas Details, and today we have Mr. Ivan from DIY Details. So he was kind enough to stop by here at Richmond, Virginia to give us some tricks, and I want to share with you guys all of the tricks, tips and tricks that he got for us. So today we're going to be doing what?
Decontamination, chemical and mechanical at the same time.
Okay.
So most of your customer base is mobile detailers.
Correct.
For mobile detailers, you need a system that's efficient, that's quick, and can be done in direct sunlight.
Correct.
This is efficient, it's quick, it can be done in direct sunlight, and your customers are going to love the results.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's do it.
Off we go. So your BMW, it's right on the verge of being too dirty to do it without rinsing.
Correct.
But we can do this without rinsing. And the way we're going to do it, we're going to start with the rinseless wash.
Okay.
We have it diluted 256 to 1, or 4 milliliters to a liter.
Okay.
Half an ounce to a gallon, however you want to look at it. And we're just going to pre-spray. And you can see it's already emulsifying and breaking down. We can see it's already emulsifying and breaking down that dirt and actually lifting the dirt into the bubbles of the rinseless.
Correct. Yeah, actually I can see it right there.
Yeah.
How it's lifting up the dirt.
So think of this, if you're used to foaming and using soap, think of this as your pre-soak foam.
Okay.
Now, if the vehicle is really dirty, we're going to do this and then we're going to rinse it off.
Okay.
But in this case, we can get away without rinsing with the sponge.
All right.
We have our legacy sponge, and we don't want to take it soaking like this onto the car.
Okay.
We want to squeeze it out so it's just on the verge of dripping.
Okay.
And then we have the two colors. They're actually the same density of foam, same pore structure, everything. It's just two different colors to give you a visual cue of what you're doing.
Is any reason why you don't want it like with a lot of water?
Right. So if you have too much water in it, the sponge isn't working for you.
Okay.
Now a sponge naturally wants to absorb water, and it still, has a lot of water in it. If we squeeze it, it gets, we see the water. But what we're doing is now the sponge wants to absorb that liquid that's on the surface and bring it into the sponge.
Into the sponge. Okay.
And when we're using the legacy sponge, no pressure whatsoever. So you can see all that dirt is already off the surface.
Correct.
But if we're concerned about a little additional grit, what we can do is flip the sponge, go to the other side, and now
it's finishing up.
You see that there's no grit left on the surface, no dirt, because it's absorbed it all into the sponge. And we can see the surface of the sponge. We have some dirt here.
Exactly.
I'm just going to touch it to the bucket, not even soak it. So, sorry, I dropped it.
It dropped.
But squeeze it out, and we have a clean sponge again. And then you can do the other side.
All right. So I'm going to start with this side. No pressure.
Yeah. The less pressure you use, the better it's going to work for you.
Okay.
I have two qualities in life. I'm cheap and I'm lazy. So I don't want to have to work. And putting pressure is working.
Exactly.
I want to be relaxed at the end of the day. You want your employees to be able to go home and play with their kids.
Exactly. Yes.
You want to play with your kids. You have young children still.
Exactly. I got 3 of them, so.
Yeah. So we can see we've got no grit left on the surface. It's clean.
Yeah.
But we still have that contamination.
Exactly.
So for that, we're going to use the perforated synthetic decontamination towel, aka a clay towel, but there's no clay involved. Clay is an abrasive material.
Okay.
This has no abrasion to it whatsoever. It's extremely flexible.
Exactly.
And we don't want to squeeze this out. We want to leave that liquid in it for the simple reason that if we happen to apply pressure to the towel, it's going to bring more lubrication out onto the surface.
Exactly.
So we don't want to be pressing.
All right.
And we're going to be using iron remover.
Okay.
Now, most people use iron remover by spraying it on the surface everywhere.
Exactly.
And when they spray it on the surface everywhere, they see those red streaks, and it's fun to look at. But this is an expensive chemical.
It is.
Other than ceramic coatings, this is the most expensive chemical any detailer has.
That's correct.
The other thing is, it doesn't really smell that great.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone that says, oh, I love the smell of iron remover. And if you do, leave a comment below.
Yes.
But we'd love to meet you. But the iron remover, to me, smells like profits for a detailer because it's a simple, efficient way of working.
Okay.
And spraying it all over the car, you're going to use a lot. Now, we're right above the label here. And on a car like this, I'm going to be using less than an ounce to do the whole car.
The whole vehicle.
Because we're doing it a different way.
Okay.
We're spraying one on the towel,
okay,
one on the surface, and where we sprayed on the surface is where we deposit the towel.
Okay.
Now, with no pressure whatsoever, I'm going to glide it across the surface and gently lift that contamination off. You can see a bit of red showing up. But what we're doing is we're actually making the iron remover more efficient and more effective. Because the iron remover, when we're spraying it on the surface, what we're seeing is it's attacking the rust that's on the surface.
Okay.
The iron particle that caused that rust, we need to remove it. An iron remover doesn't necessarily remove it.
Okay.
Because it's attacking rust. It should actually be called a rust converter. It's converting the rust into that red that we see.
Exactly.
But the little iron ball, if you can think of it as you've got this hot iron ball that came off your brakes, attached itself to the paint, and now it's still there. On a white car, the surface never gets hot enough to dry a liquid. So what happens is that little ball of rust, or that little ball of steel, starts to rust.
Exactly.
Every time the car gets moist with dew in the morning, etc., we see that rust stain grow.
Exactly.
By removing the iron particle, that little ball of metal, taking it out of the way, now it's gone with the towel. Now we're just left with that rust stain. So your iron remover is more efficient.
Exactly.
Because it's just attacking the rust stain. It's not attacking the whole, it's not having to work around that steel ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it's not going to dissolve the steel ball. If you want to do a test, you take a bit of iron remover, put a rusty piece of metal in it. It's not going to dissolve the whole piece of metal.
No.
It's just going to dissolve the rust off the piece of metal.
Exactly. It's going to help a little bit, but it's not like it's going to dissolve it.
No,
100%.
exactly. Yeah. But that piece of metal is not going to go away. Exactly. You can leave a piece of metal in here for a year and it's still not going to dissolve.
Yeah.
So, and then on the other half of the trunk, we'll do the same thing. One spray there, one spray here. Deposit the towel. We can hear the contamination.
Yep.
We just go till we don't hear and we don't feel the contamination anymore. And you see it's got a bit of a sudsing effect.
Yep. Yep.
Because we have lubrication, we have surfactants in the iron remover specifically because it's designed to do this technique.
Okay.
It's designed to work with a decontamination towel.
Okay.
And then from there, since it's iron remover, we have to rinse it off.
Exactly.
Now for the mobile detailers, if iron remover dries on the surface, not a big deal. It'll rinse away even though it's dried on the surface. So you don't need to worry about it drying on the surface.
So it's not going to cause any problems.
There's no our iron remover doesn't have any solvents in it, so it's not going to cause water spotting. It's not going to it's not going to damage or stain anything. You can do the glass, you can do the plastic, you can do the chrome, anything on the outside of the vehicle.
Okay, so it's a much safer iron remover.
And speaking of safety, we don't want to dry this vehicle off with just the towel.
Okay.
Right. So we're going to use a ceramic gloss as a drying aid, as a drying lubricant.
Okay.
Better way of looking at it. So one spray on the surface, you see it automatically taking the water off. We'll put another one over here. And then where we sprayed is where we deposit our drying towel.
Okay.
And just move it around the surface and dry at the same time.
All right. Smells so good.
Yeah.
That product smells really good.
And speaking of smell, we don't smell the iron remover, even though we're in a closed shop.
Exactly.
Because we're using so little of it. We're not spraying it everywhere in the air.
That's right.
And now you have a nice, smooth, decontaminated, and protected surface.
Exactly. So nice. So easy.
Yeah, and it doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah.
So for the mobile detailer, this is a very quick maintenance service you can offer all your customers. Simple, easy, effective. And if you want to show your customer that the car actually needs iron removal, you can actually use the license plate. So you don't want to spray it on the car. You can spray their license plate just a little bit.
Okay.
It's going to show that red tracing, so one spray.
Okay.
And now you can show the customer, look, if your license plate is like this, so is the rest of your car.
The rest of the vehicle is going to be the same.
And one trick for the detailer, the back end of the car is always the most contaminated.
Correct.
So showing it on the license plate is a nice, easy way of demonstrating to the customer why they need to have their car decontaminated.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now we have a glossy, protected surface that we didn't scratch, we didn't mar, because the decontamination towel doesn't cause marring. It's not a clay bar.
Yeah. Heard a few comments here and there, you know, people saying, oh, you are scratching.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way.
No,
the case, but
with a clay bar, yes. With a clay bar, it's an abrasive. You're marring the surface.
That's true.
With a synthetic decontamination towel, ours is an extra fine. There's no abrasives in it.
Super soft. Yeah.
It's not marring the surface.
Amazing.
It's as gentle to your surface as a microfiber towel, but it's plucking, for lack of a better term, it's lifting that contamination off.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Ivan, thank you so much for
helping
helping us to understand how to use, you know, the synthetic clay. Once again, synthetic.
Perforated synthetic decontamination.
There you go.
PSD.
That one there.
Yeah.
There you go. And the iron remover, saving a ton of money, guys. That's very important.
Yeah.
Saving a lot of money is the way to go. So really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Make sure, guys, to subscribe to DIY Details because there's a ton of tips and tricks on their channel. And of course, I want to bring those tips and tricks here at Waterless Details. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And if you want some DIY detail products, you can go to your website, Waterless Details.
Correct.
Buy them there. Or if you go to DIY Detail, you can use the coupon code Waterless10.
Waterless10. If you guys want to get it locally here in Richmond, Virginia as well, we're going to have them in a stock for you guys. So, all right, feel free to stop by, call us, and then we will have the products for you guys.
Yeah.
Once again, like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.